Hello, I'm Manuel, and welcome to a new episode on how to become a digital nomad. Today we'll be talking about security, or how to be safe out there in the wild. So actually this is a very serious topic. It is the most important one of the series. The truth is, the choices that you make daily as a digital nomad can affect where are you gonna wake up the next day. Are you gonna wake up in the bed of your hotel or Airbnb, or are you gonna wake up in the bed of a hospital? I know I'm probably putting it very dramatic, but in some cases this is actually true. Now, another thing that we have to consider is that your physical well-being is more important than your belongings. I wanted to say this because in some cases you might find yourself in a scenario of a thief that is trying to steal from you something and threatening you with a knife. So in these cases, what it's suggested is for you to just give him what he wants. And the reason is very simple. Except you're a policeman, you probably don't even have experience on how to deal with the situation. Instead, on the contrary, the thief actually have more experience of that, probably years. So it's not really suggested for you to run away or things like that, because he might overrun you, for example. First thing that you can do whenever you go in another country is to check his crime index. So the crime index is basically a value which sort of tells you how much is safe a place or another. So there are different websites where you can check the crime index of a country. They probably pick, I'm not sure they all have the same way of evaluating the crime index of every country. Anyway, I'm posting a link of a website with its own crime index, and I'm gonna post it in the description of video down below. The thing is, independently on how this value it's been made or evaluated, the take is that based on that value, they basically try to assign a color to every country, and this color basically indicates if this place or this country is safe, not so safe, and not safe at all. So and usually the color that they use is the one are the same of a traffic light. So there is green, yellow, and red and orange, and obviously it goes by how dangerous are the countries. Starting from the safest one, we have the green countries. So a green country is basically a place or a country where you can do anything you want, anywhere, with any belonging that you want. So if you have a fancy camera, you can go around, no problem, nothing is gonna really happen to you. Always pay attention to it, but nothing, there are not gonna be dangerous situations. The only thing you're gonna be concerned about is where should you go, what should you visit, which hike is the best for the best view, and things like that. So no many worries. What about yellow countries? So in yellow countries, well, here you can do anything you want. You can bring, let's say, not the most expensive things with you, but this only during the day. Let's put it this way. Instead, in the night, you can only go in some places, and it's very highly suggested for you to just bring what you really need and not much more than that. So an example is, for example, you have a very fancy iWatch and you want to go clubbing. Well, I really suggest you to not bring the iWatch with you, because what is going to happen is probably someone will look at you and be like, okay, this guy is not from here, he's a tourist, and let's just wait for him to go to the bathroom, to the toilet, and let's just go around him, and then just take the high watch from him. And yeah, that's what happened, or is one of the stories that I've heard. So red and orange countries. So in these countries, you cannot go everywhere, and it's suggested to just bring what you need already during the daytime. At night, the places that are safe are less, and also if you ever want to go in these places, I really suggest you to just bring what you need. Much more than that. So if you want to bring, if you have some fancy clothes, do not do that. Bring like little bit less fancy clothes, and no high watch. That's not gonna last longer with you. And if you want to bring money, just a little bit more, not too much, not too less. Personal documents, just bring the extreme minimum, or do not bring. Yeah, actually, some documents, yeah, because they don't really steal documents. They're just interested in the money or the phones. I'm just gonna say. So actually, it's much better if you don't bring phones with you in these red countries. And if you are starting to travel and you want to try to experience what is, and maybe one day aspire and become a digital nomad, so becoming independent and traveling, what I suggest you to start with is just with the green countries. Now, this doesn't mean that unwanted situations might happen, but at least your physical well-being, it's fine. So in fact, what is very common, in particular in big cities, even in green countries, is that there are thieves that usually are around in very crowded area. They just look around, they look for tourists, and they try to steal stuff from there, because they know that they usually have more expensive things with them. So what I suggest to you is to ever go in these big cities, and you go in metros or in buses, just be aware, keep an eye on your stuff. So if keep a hand on and keep touching your things, just checking that if they are still there, keep contact with it. Try to stay a little bit away from others, but if it's crowded, it's going to be difficult. So I know that you have to check where you have to stop and also things like that. So do that, but also keep in mind that you have to keep touching your stuff. That really helps. The truth is that these thieves have probably years of experience, so they have very smooth hands. So they probably, if they ever gonna steal from you, you're not gonna notice that at all. So what is gonna happen if they steal from you is that you're gonna go out, you're not even gonna notice that, then you just go and maybe pay for something, maybe at the bar, or maybe and you're gonna check for your wallet, and they're gonna think, oh fuck, oh damn, where it is. Or maybe they stole your camera, and then you're just gonna notice way later than when the fact happened. So it's already too late. So this happens even in green places. So in yellow and red, orange places, what happens is these things happen more directly. So people will actually try to steal from you, and they might be even harmed in very red countries. So as I said, if it ever happens, just give them what they want. But what if you ever want to go in a not safe place? What are you supposed to be doing? So obviously the first question would be why would you ever want to go there? And the truth is, I have been, and there might be things that you want to see or experiences that you want to have that unfortunately are in those countries, and therefore you just want to go there. So I'm probably the last person to judge on this. I don't care. If you want to go, but please follow the following precautions, because this is gonna make your trip way more safer, like exponentially safer. The first thing is to ask at the desk of your hostel, hotel, Airbnb for the safest place to visit. That's it. Why? Because then you're aware of the places that you have to avoid and where you should be going, and you will feel safer. So the thing is that if you ask to someone about the safe place and they do not know, well, that should trigger some sort of red flag, because if you are in a country that is known for the crime problems that it has, then everyone knows what's safe and not. So if he doesn't know, just ask to someone else and he will probably know. Then second, if you want to move around, tend to use a Uber or similar type of transportation, even a taxi. They tend to be cheaper in red states, or there might be an alternative to Uber. And I think there are actually Uber everywhere in those states, because it's actually a honest and cheap way for them to make money. A possible case in this scenario is that you want to go from the airport to your hostel or Airbnb. What I suggest you to always use a Uber, because you have all your stuff with you, even the most expensive one. So you just avoid the crowd small places where someone can steal from you. And when you go to the place, to a new country, you have no clue what's safe or not. So if you take a Uber from the airport to the hotel, you just save yourself from possible unwanted situations. And when you're there, you can ask where you can go and cannot go. Now, another suggestion, which this will sound extremely obvious, but believe me, that's the story that I heard the most that kept happening. Do not accept drinks, particularly in clubs, from strangers. So if you're a guy and a hot woman wants to share a drink with you, do not take it, do not drink it. Same if a guy is trying to hit on you and you're a woman. So just do not accept it, even though it might be a very let's say friendly situation. So something that happens once to me was I was with a friend and we were on a table. We were in a not so safe countries by ourselves, and we asked around for that area and they were like, yeah, you can stay there. So we went there, and some people saw that we were foreigners and they were like, oh, come to drink with us. And even though they looked so friendly and they looked like, okay, this is gonna be the most amazing night if we join them, we both agreed to not stay with them. Now the reason is not because they look unfriendly, it's because of the attitude that we wanted to have, is to not just accept drinks from strangers but only with people that we know. And the other reason is we had that attitude because just recently, just the week before, a friend of us actually just did it and end up in a hospital. So we didn't want to do the same thing, even though they were probably friendly. We just didn't want to do that. So that's what I suggested you to do the same. And that's what unfortunately happens, is that in these countries people tend to be extremely friendly, but that doesn't really help tourists, because then they just believe everyone, right? It is sort of unfortunate, these situations. So these are basically the tricks that can make your trip way more safer. Just ask at the desk, take private sort of transportations, and do not accept things from strangers like drinks. So these are all the topics or arguments that I wanted to discuss in this video. And actually I wanted also to have a small talk about or share some stories, but I think it's much better if I put it in another video, probably the next one. Why? Because I actually have a lot of them, and I don't think I can fit them in a 10-15 minutes video. So it's gonna become too hard. And I think it's gonna be quite interesting to have just a video on how only the bad stories of that, you know, things that can happen while you're traveling. And the reason is because whenever you go, whenever you watch things on Facebook or influencers, everything is so amazing. Everything is like no problems, cool, blue as water. But the truth is that behind there is a lot of that they're not telling. And I would just like to put some light also to the dark areas of traveling. There is a last thing is, the difference of traveling between men and women. Obviously, it's very different experience that a man will have respect to a woman. What happens is that, men do not really bother other men, but they sure bother women. So one of the reasons that many women do not want to travel is because of this a lot of unwanted attention that usually they already receive in their own country, and they cannot imagine, what if I go to another one? It's gonna be crazy. What if I travel by myself? Oh my god, I don't want all this unwanted attention on me. And so my suggestion in there is usually that I've met very beautiful women or attractive women or not attractive women that anyway they were traveling by themselves. So I strongly suggest any women to travel. Men travel too. You're not gonna get bothered by other men usually, except if you have very expensive belongings with you. In that case, people will just want to steal it from you. And in any case, what I also really suggest is to do have some basic of self-defense. So I never really had to use it, but I had some judo background, and that confidence of me being able to have some basic of fighting just made me, I think, feeling more secure about myself and what I was doing. And try to also to detect if a situation was getting too much dangerous or not. Usually when you do martial arts, what you actually learn is to avoid fighting situations, because people just get hurt for no reason. So you try to avoid that till you get to the point where you have to use it. So these are my final thoughts about the video. That's all I wanted to talk about. If you like this video, please smash the like button down below, which should be here. No, probably it's here. And if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. I'm gonna have fun to reply. And thanks a lot for watching. You are a very special viewer. You're the best viewer of YouTube of the world. Thanks a lot for watching, and bam fist. So after said this, thank you and see you in the next video. Bye.